Hey, I'm Ali from FX Order Flow channel, and I want to show you guys how I made a good trade on S&P 500. These candles are 1-minute candles, and the numbers right next to them, they are sell and buys together. So this is NYC open, and once the market opened, we had some good volumes here, and sellers tried to push the market down with high amount of sells, but they didn't make it. And right after that, we can see buyers entering the market after a sell push down, and then they didn't make it down furthermore, and then buyers came in. We had a trade size here, more buys up here. So once I saw this opportunity, this area for me is a value area high based on volume, and it's a good area for a buy trade here because the market pushed higher above it. And then once I saw that, I placed a limit order around here to enter the market, and with this candle I entered the market. It was the sells on this candle was a little bit high, but the reason was that there was at that time there was a big order here. The market tried to push and consume the order down here. So the main reason for the big sales here is that. But what was important for me is that what happens after the market consumes the order. Before I put my buy limit order around here, the order was not here. So the order came right after I opened my trade. So if I would see the order, I wouldn't enter the market and waited for the order to fill, and then I would watch it and then see what happens. So after the market consumed the order, as you can see around here, there was high amount of sales to consume it, to consume the buy limit. The market didn't make it go down, and the candle closed bullish, although we had negative delta. We had two trade size here and a good trade size for buys. So even if you wouldn't enter by buy limits, you could enter right here after this candle. So let's see what happens after. Another wave of buyers came, and then we retested the volume again, and then again buys. Okay. Till this point, everything was perfect. So the moment I saw this block, it's a huge buy blocks. I mean, when I say huge, I don't mean the candle size. I mean for the volumes. So buyers tried really hard to push the market higher, but a passive seller was blocking the buys by planting sell limit orders with a really high speed. So this was a warning sign for me. Once I saw that, I closed 50% of my trade on almost 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And then I waited. My stop loss was around something around 7 pips, around 7 pips. And the profit that I would make here was like 5 pips, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember correctly, around 5 pips. So after I closed 50% of my trade, I put my stop loss here around 5 pips. So even if the market would come down, I wouldn't lose any money because I closed 50% of my trade on 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So then I waited again. Buyers tried to go higher, and then the block order was still there, another block order. But finally we went up. Once we went once we broke the range here and went up, I moved my stop loss to break even to the entry point. And another thing happened here. We had another box here, and then a lot of sell orders here. But there was also a good side for this, because after the absorption of buyers here, we had a lot of sells. And a passive buyer was absorbing all the sells here, wouldn't let the market come down, but we came a little bit down, and here. Something bad happened here. This is a news candle. I'm not talking about news on Forex Factory, this news. So at that time, US and China was negotiating in London, and a fake news came out false news, I wouldn't say fake, that two government officials tell me US-China trade talks are still ongoing in London, despite some reports in the last few minutes saying otherwise. So this report was false. So when the report came out, the market just dropped, because if the negotiation was not good, of course the S&P 500 would drop really hard. So my stop loss at the break-even point got hit, and I got out of the trade with a small profit because I had a partial close on profit here. And you could enter again here because we had another important area here. If I show you on 1 hour, it's right here. So we had a, if I open my Epic pen, let me, yeah. So we had a value area low here. The other position was here. It was value area high. So market touched that. It's a good place to enter another buy, and I would enter it, but by the time that I saw the news, and it was too late. It was too late because when this when this CNBC news came out that said the report was false, it was like a few minutes after, so the market was around here. So if you could enter around here, but you had to put your stop loss down below here. But the problem with that is that it had a 12, 13, almost 13 pips in stop loss, which is a lot for me. I don't take trades more than 10 pips. Usually I would take the trades with like 7, 6 pips, 8 pips sometimes of a stop loss. But if it's like more than 10, I wouldn't take it because the risk reward ratio wouldn't worth it anymore. I don't take any trade that gives me less than risk reward ratio of 3. So I didn't take this trade. If the market would come down around here or maybe here, if it takes above this absorption area, there was a high amount of sales, but the market rejected really good with negative delta. And then we had this candle with negative delta, and it closed bullish. That's another sign that the market goes up. And then here we had another sign. We had a trade size of 500 lots. The market didn't budge a tick, didn't budge a tick, and then went up with more trade sizes up there. So I would enter if the market would come down a little bit, but it didn't came, and it came up straight to the TP, which was a lot. If I would make much more money, a lot more money on this trade, but the problem was that my break even got hit. So unfortunately, I just made a small profit on that trade. Yeah, that was the technical analysis for that day. This is my trade on CFD on my MT5 on real account. I entered here, and then I closed 50% up there. This is the entry, this is the partial close, and then my break even got hit here with a little bit of a slippage. It was like almost half a pip of a slippage, or maybe a little bit more. And finally, I got out of the trade, but then, as you can see, we went way more higher than that. You could get a risk reward ratio of 4 or even more if you would hold it more than 1 day. But yeah, I got out of here, and I made only $42, which is not a lot, but that's just money. Oh, and don't look at the lots. It's 18 lots. You might think that, oh, how did you make only $45 with 18 lots? The reason is that on my broker, 10 standard lots on S&P 500 is like 1 lot on other charts. I mean, basically it's like 1.8 lots, not 18 lots, which is not a lot on S&P 500. It's actually pretty low. Yeah, this is on CFD. If you like the video, please like and subscribe on my channel. See you guys on the next one.